Okay, real quick, I wanted to share this quote that I found that I thought was like super good. It says, if we change the stories that we live by, quite possibly we change our lives. And it's by Okri. I'm gonna read that one more time. If we change the stories we live by, quite possibly we change our lives. And I think that quote is so powerful because it's so true. The narrative that we live by in our heads determines the way that we live our lives on the outside. Like, it determines our reality. Like, when I used to walk around and I was unsure of myself and I wasn't confident and I second guessed things and I needed someone to affirm or, you know, give me the step by step, like, when I didn't show up authentically as myself, like, that showed in my relationships. It showed in people's interactions with me. Sometimes I could be very like to myself and closed off, and like the perception that they gave to other people sometimes was like, oh, she might be unapproachable, or she's, you know, she thinks she's better than, or she's doesn't know what she's doing, like she might not be as smart, like, or, you know, just different things like that. But then when I shifted my mindset and started taking ownership of the spaces that I was going to start walking in confidently, I wasn't thinking about like if somebody was judging me, because I used to be relatively insecure, and I'm like, okay, like they're judging my actions, they're judging this, they're judging that, like, oh my god. But when I shifted my mindset and I walked into spaces confidently, like, people noticed that confidence immediately. The way that my interactions went with people was completely different. Like, I can walk in stores now and people will just start talking to me. Because I'm approachable, I'm open, I'm, you know, ready to engage. So it's crazy, and it's always interesting just to look at the way how our lives can alter just by us shifting our own perceptions about ourselves, you know. And I carry myself with an energy now where it's like, even if you do say something, if I say something and you take it a certain way and you say XYZ back, or even, excuse me, if you like give me any criticism, I take ownership of my life and the fact that I know, like, I can choose whether this is relevant, whether it's true, whether I'm going to receive it, or whether I'm going to put it on a shelf to save for later, or put it on a shelf where it's like, okay, irrelevant information, and not in a mean way, but in a way of like, am I going to allow it to completely disturb me and destroy my mindset? No, because I own my life. I choose. I create. I decide. Yeah, and that doesn't mean that you're not going to have feelings, but you can feel the feelings and then let it go without holding on to those things and internalizing them. And so that quote, amazing. I'll read it one more time before I end this video. If we change the stories we live by, quite possibly we change our lives. So I'll invite you to think about, how do you show up in spaces? What is the narrative that you live by and bring into your reality? And how can you shift it for your own, you know, how can you show up differently with a different mindset or a different story that you live by?